Joining us now with more insight on this meeting is Dr. Corney Becker, Dean of the School of Divinity at Regent University. Thank you so much for joining us today.
What a joy.
Now, Dr. Becker, some see the visit between the Pope and the head of the Russian Orthodox Church as an ecumenical breakthrough.
Right.
Others see it as Russia trying to assert itself on the world stage. How do you read this?
Right. Well, one of the first things that we have to say is that this patriarch is actually not the head of all of the Eastern churches, just one group in particular, although the largest of the Eastern churches. And it's a little bit tricky. Firstly, we have to say this is the first time that the leaders of these two churches will meet for almost 1,000 years.
Wow.
Almost 1,000 years. But at the same time, we recognize that for this particular patriarch, who's the patriarch of Moscow and all of Russia, that certainly Putin had to give him permission to go. So it might be two things going on at the same time, maybe some ecumenical work, but maybe at the same time, Russia indeed is involved in this meeting.
Amazing, amazing. Well, the focus of the meeting is apparently a shared concern for Christians in Iraq and Syria who are being killed by ISIS or driven from their homes. Could it make a difference, these two leaders coming together to oppose this persecution?
Yes, it could, of course, make extraordinary difference. Whenever Christian churches come together and stand against the persecution that is happening, this would help churches that are localized in that area. It's been so strange to me that so many administrations, including the American administration, has really ignored the extraordinary suffering of Christians in the Middle East.
Amazing. Well, the Vatican is hoping that this meeting will spur progress in the dialogue over the theological differences. What are those differences that have kept the church in the East and the West apart for 1,000 years?
Right. There are many differences, but three that we can mention immediately. Firstly, the supremacy of the Bishop of Rome from the Catholic side as the head of the global church. That's the first difference. The second one is a misunderstanding and some differences between how the Trinity actually works together and operates. And the third one is the issue of celibacy for priests.
Wow, amazing. Well, should we expect to see these two churches working together more in the coming years to resolve their differences? And in what areas might they be able to reach an agreement?
I would not see a lot of agreement on those three issues at this point in time.
Major, yeah.
I do think we have to see this visit as much more symbolic in nature than really reaching some formal agreement at this point.
Okay. And should evangelicals care about this? And what does the coming together of the Roman Catholic Church and the Russian Orthodox Church, what does that mean for them, for evangelicals?
Jesus prayed in John's Gospel that his followers, his church would be one. So I do believe that there will come a day where the church will come together. We have to, though, pray and make sure that this is not a political union, but indeed a spiritual union. This is something that evangelicals should care about, and we certainly should lift these two leaders and certainly these two church communities up in prayer.
Indeed. Dr. Corney Becker, thank you so much for your time and for your insights today.
What a joy.